Have you ever felt like people were whispering about you, about something you said, or maybe something you couldn't keep quiet about? Imagine this. Many people are talking about your mouth. Your mouth. At first it sounds strange, even unsettling. But stay with me. This isn't about gossip. This is about something higher. If you've ever believed in angels, then maybe you're here for a reason. Maybe this message isn't an accident at all. Life has moments when we're reminded that nothing is random. A phrase overheard, a door suddenly opening, or a word that finds its way to you at just the right time. It feels like more than coincidence. That's the kind of moment we're in right now. The message is clear. This has been sent for you. The stars are watching. The heavens are listening. The unseen world is paying attention. And so are the people you never expected. Think about it. There are conversations happening in corners you'll never walk into. People are speaking your name, repeating your words, carrying your voice farther than you know. The heavens have heard what was said about you, and now, what feels like judgment or confusion is turning into confirmation. This is not just about what people say. It's about what has been placed inside of you and why it keeps drawing attention. When you feel like the spotlight is unfairly on you, when whispers echo louder than your own peace, ask yourself, why? Why are so many talking? Sometimes the noise is proof of a light you carry. Sometimes it's the evidence that your words matter more than you thought. The mouth as a gate. Your mouth is more than speech. It's a gate, a threshold where something passes from the unseen into the world. Through your mouth, life can be birthed. And yes, through your silence, captivity can remain unbroken. That's a heavy thought, isn't it? That the choice to speak or not to speak can shift someone else's story. Think back to the last time someone's words reached you at the exact moment you were about to give up. Maybe it was a friend who told you, you're not alone. Maybe it was a stranger who smiled and said, I see you. Words have that power, and yours carry even more. Your mouth has been the reason someone smiled when they thought joy was gone. It has steadied the trembling heart on the brink of collapse. But here's the deeper truth. Your words don't just comfort. They carry something sacred. Prophecy, authority, healing. Have you ever noticed how some people just command a room, not with volume, but with presence? That's what lives in your voice. You don't just speak, you shift atmospheres. That's why others notice. That's why some can't ignore you, even if they wish they could. Your words have opened eyes that were trapped in endless cycles. They've carried courage that you didn't even realize was there. They've carried love even in correction, strength even in weakness. Some call it charisma, some call it energy, but let's be honest, it's spirit. It's something beyond you, and it shines through you. Fire on the tongue and a higher calling. There's an ancient image that says, I have placed fire on your tongue. Not fire that destroys, but fire that purifies, awakens, reveals. And that's exactly what your voice has been doing. Without asking for it, you've been given a responsibility to speak when others stay silent, to call out truth when the world is drowning in lies. You were never meant to blend in. You weren't designed to hold your breath while injustice roared. You were made to be the one who speaks. Maybe your prayers were never polished, never flowery, but they were soaked in sincerity. Maybe your voice has trembled, not from fear, but from the weight of knowing that every word you release could shift someone's destiny. That's no small burden. And maybe that's why people misunderstand you. Some tried to shut you down, to put your words in a box, to make you smaller than you are. But your voice was never built for cages. It's too vast, too alive. That's why it stirs people. That's why it unsettles some and inspires others. Clarity always does. Truth always does. When you speak, you declare what others are afraid to whisper. And yes, that makes you a target, but it also makes you necessary. So when the murmurs rise, when the criticism comes, remember this. Fire has been placed on your tongue for a reason. You were meant to ignite, not to fade. Your mouth is an instrument. Your voice is a key. And the doors it will unlock cannot be sealed again. Lessons learned in the valley. Life has a way of teaching us lessons in the most unexpected places. Sometimes the greatest wisdom doesn't come from the mountaintop moments when everything feels clear. It comes from a valley, those stretches of life where the air feels heavy, where every breath is a struggle, and where silence seems louder than any voice you can muster. You were taught in the valley. That line carries a weight we all understand. Have you noticed how the hardest seasons in your life often become the ones that shape your voice the most? When you thought you had nothing left to say, you learned how to speak life. When you were gasping for your own breath, you discovered how to breathe hope into others. Think about those times when the world pressed you down so far you didn't think you'd rise again. Yet in those moments you found words, sometimes whispered through tears, sometimes spoken in defiance, that carry more honesty than any polished speech ever could. Words born in the valley carry a different kind of authority. They are raw, unfiltered, soaked in truth. People may have dismissed you, even criticized you, saying your tone was too sharp, your boldness unnecessary. But now they're realizing something. That boldness was exactly what was needed. Your courage to speak, when others stayed silent, shook the chains that no one else even saw. And what they once called arrogance is now being recognized as strength. The truth is, words planted in the soil of struggle don't disappear. They grow. Sometimes it takes years before they break the surface, but they do. Think of the seed you spoke into someone's life long ago, a word of encouragement, a prayer, a reminder of their worth. They may have walked away and forgotten, but deep down it took root. And now, maybe years later, it has sprouted into hope that carries them through today. You may not see the full impact of your words in the moment, but they echo. They linger in minds and hearts, sometimes haunting in the best possible way. That's the nature of truth. It refuses to stay buried. And your voice, born in the valley, carries that kind of truth. So don't underestimate what you've sown. Sound waves carry farther than you think. What you release when you speak isn't gone once the conversation ends. It moves, it multiplies, and it finds its way into places you'll never step. Soon enough, you will see the fruit of what your voice has planted. It won't be by accident. It will be the harvest of every word spoken in pain, in faith, and in courage. The evidence of your impact. Why you think people have tried so hard to silence you? It's not because your words caused chaos. It's because your words created clarity. That's a kind of power many don't know how to handle. When truth shows up, it unsettles those who are comfortable with lies. When light appears, it disturbs those who thrived in shadows. That's why misunderstandings happen. That's why your voice has been boxed, mislabeled, even rejected. But here's the thing. Your voice is not a weapon of destruction. It's warfare of a different kind, the kind that rebuilds, that plants seeds, that shifts atmospheres. You don't tear down to leave ruins. You speak so that something new can grow. Think back. Haven't you noticed moments when a simple word from you shifted the room? Maybe someone's depression lifted without explanation. Maybe a conversation you had with a friend gave them the courage to take one more step when they were ready to quit. That wasn't coincidence. That was the power placed inside your voice. And yes, you stumbled. You've said things you regret, words born out of anger or pain. Haven't we all? But even in your brokenness, the calling never left. Even when you thought you were disqualified, your voice still carried something sacred. That's why you couldn't stay silent forever. Because silence may have felt safe, but was never your destiny. Here's what's even more remarkable. Every time you speak life into others, something blooms in you too. Have you felt it? That moment when you encourage a friend, and suddenly your own spirit feels lighter? When you remind someone else they're chosen, and deep down you're reminded too. Your words don't just transform others, they transform you. And now, you are being prepared for something larger. A season is coming when what you say will echo far beyond your circle. You'll speak a phrase that seems small to you, but will land in the heart of thousands. You'll whisper something simple, and to someone out there, it will sound like a roar that wakes them up from despair. That's why your journey has been so hard. It's been training ground. Every valley, every misunderstanding, every tear has been carving your voice into an instrument fit for this moment. Don't despise the struggle. Don't dismiss the silence. They were shaping you into someone whose words carry weight not just for yourself, but for generations. So speak with fire. Speak with grace. Speak with tenderness and authority. Because your voice isn't just noise, it's a key. And the doors it unlocks may be exactly what someone else has been praying for all along. Restoration, release, and promise. There comes a moment in every journey when the pieces start to make sense. When you realize that the struggles, the silences, and even the misunderstandings were not detours, but preparation. This is that moment for you. You may think your voice is small, but a whisper from you can become the roar someone else needs to rise. Sometimes it's not the loudest speech that shakes the world. It's the quiet words spoken at the right time with the right heart. A gentle phrase from your lips could awaken hope in someone who thought their story was over. Your story has been woven together into a sound that only you can carry. Think about it. No one else has your scars, your lessons, your joys, your losses. Each thread has been stitched into your voice, making it unmistakable, irreplaceable. When you speak, you don't just deliver information, you release something eternal. That's why your mouth is called a wellspring. Spirit flows through it, and spirit never dies. There are people right now waiting for a word that only you can give. They may not even know they're waiting, but when your voice reaches them, it will be like water to a desert. And so the call is simple. Don't stop. Don't silence yourself to fit in. Don't shrink back because your voice shakes. Every time you speak truth, even trembling truth, heaven moves. Something shifts in the unseen, and lives are touched in ways you may never witness firsthand. The best is not behind you. It's within you, alive, waiting, ready to be spoken into existence. Your voice holds the power to transform atmospheres, to change the temperature of a room, to turn despair into faith. And hear this promise: the pain of your past is not wasted. Every word spoken over you to silence you, every attempt to shame you into silence, it's being healed. The boldness you thought you lost is being restored, but this time it's not arrogance, it's holy confidence. The kind that cannot be taken away. You are not forgotten. You are chosen. You are seen. And you are loved. As we step back and take in the whole picture, one truth stands out. Many people are talking about your mouth. They may not always understand it. They may criticize, whisper, or question. But their words are only confirmation of what has been placed inside you all along. Your mouth is not ordinary. It carries prophecy, authority, and healing. When you speak, chains begin to rattle loose. When you declare truth, confusion loses its grip. This is not about being eloquent or impressive. It's about being authentic. The world doesn't need another perfect voice. It needs yours. Remember those valley lessons. Remember the fire on your tongue that purified instead of consuming. That's what makes your voice different. It's been refined by tears, sharpened by trials, softened by compassion. And now it's rising. So let them talk. Let them wonder. Let them try to figure out how you carry what you carry. You don't need to defend yourself, because heaven has already marked you. The fact that they're speaking at all is proof that your voice cannot be ignored. And here's the promise that wraps it all together. Your mouth is anointed. You are not here by accident. You are chosen for this moment in history. Every breath you release, every word you speak, is part of something bigger than you can see. When your name is remembered, it won't be because you stayed silent. It will be because you spoke when silence was safer, because you carried light when shadows pressed in, because you trusted the voice inside you, even when it cost you. So rise, speak. Let your words flow like rivers into dry places. Speak with fire, with grace, with clarity, with tenderness, with authority, because your voice matters more than they'll ever admit. And when heaven leans in to listen, the earth cannot help but respond. This is your time. This is your moment. Speak, beloved, speak.